I've always wanted to build a mechanical clock, so that's what we're going to do. But rather than start with something simple and ease into it, we're going to make something convoluted from scratch. What could go wrong? The clock I have in mind is a mechanized version of the ubiquitous 7-segment display clock. Digital versions have been around for ages, and I think we've all seen the clock that still exists in every hotel room ever. Now, there are versions like the clock I want to make floating around the internet. All seem to be 3D printed or hypothetical, and all powered by a pair of servo motors controlled by an Arduino. I really wanted to design this thing for a single motor with more of a dependence on mechanical relationships as opposed to digital ones. We'll get to all that eventually, but the goal for today is to design and make a single digit. Now, I've never done anything like this before, so suffice to say, we're going to be building this boat as we're flying it. We need to design it, mock it up. I'm sure there'll be lots of iterations. There's really no time to waste, so let's start with the basics. Each of the 7 segments of each digit is connected to some arms and linkages. A shaft rotates a stack of cams, each with their own unique profile, each assigned to each one of the segments. When a lobe comes into contact with the cam follower, it pushes it upright, pulling a linkage, pulling the arm attached to the linkage with the segment also upright. As the cam follows through its rotation, the segments eventually fall back into their off states. We'll leave it at that for now. The relationship between the cam follower, segment arm, and linkage is what I want to figure out first because it's probably going to be the trickiest to figure out. It feels like it's going to be a lot of math and probably some trial and error, but either way, we're going to give it hell. Version 1 is a success, in the sense that we now know what not to do. The segment arm was too long, it was interfering with the cam top, so I cut it down arbitrarily and well, that caused all sorts of problems. Version 2 is much smoother. The relationships here are all more or less correct. The only thing I'm noticing is that this linkage connecting the cam follower to the segment arm is a little too short, and it's causing the segment arm to lean too far forward over center in its upright position. This would basically mean that that segment isn't going to want to fall back down naturally after the cam follows through with its rotation. Now, the tolerances on these linkages are probably not going to be airtight. It might be a good idea to bake in a couple degrees of backward lean on that segment arm. I'm not too worried about it. This is just a mock-up, but it's way too big. If we were to build the entire clock at this scale, it would be like 40 feet tall. I also feel like the positioning of some of these things could just be tightened up. Proportionally, it could just be an all-around more compact package. Version 3 says hold my beer. The scale is there, the proportions are all correct. I think this is the one. The only problem is that there's just a lot of slop. Probably the beer. But we'll work that out as we continue to iterate. Did someone say iterate? This project is the perfect opportunity to unleash a new machine. The Scenes. I ordered this thing in February, it arrived in May, I put it together in September, and here we are in December. Guns a-blazing. I don't have all the kinks worked out, but it is still quite operational, and I believe has the potential to be unstoppable. Well, it sorta works, but not really. It's all bunged up. I told it to lay off the It's mostly due to this fat fucking electrical wire I used for the linkages. I seem to have overcompensated for all the mock slop. Smaller linkage wires are the obvious correction, but that requires smaller holes and me working in tool changes for 16th-inch bits in my tool paths, which I haven't done before. I'm sure it can't be that big of a deal. I just broke all 4 of my 16th-inch bits. I guess this part of the project is on hold until the new bits arrive. Let's look at the segments. What? No. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Alright, well, it looks like my personal information has been collected and sold online by some scummy data broker. Again. You find this sort of thing happening to you, Well, I hate to break it to you, but chances are your data has probably been collected and sold online as well. Data brokers scrape things like your name, address, email, phone number, and even family associations, and post or publish that data on marketing lists and people search websites. That's where a lot of these spam texts, calls, emails, and scams come from. Now, in many cases, data brokers are required to remove your information if it's requested, but it's an arduous process. And let's face it, nobody's got time for that. Lucky for us, the sponsor of today's video is Incogni. Incogni is a service that works on your behalf to have that data removed. You give them the minimum information needed and they'll automatically reach out to 230 data brokers to request removal of your data. They also keep checking and repeat the process should your information show back up later on. Instead of spending who knows how many hours filing removal requests, Incogni handles it for you and keeps you updated on the progress. Right now, if you use my code, mujincontact, you can get 60% off your own annual Incogni plan. Just click the link in the description or the pinned comment below that. In fact, I'm gonna just do that myself right now. And boom. All right, folks, we're back in business. Thanks again to Incogni for sponsoring this video and keeping my information off of those lists. Now, where was I? I had the sink whip us up a little fixture to assist in drilling. Just slide it in like that and you're good to go. There's only 2 positions to worry about, and this fixture covers both of them. Wire bending is another first for me. More of an earthbender myself. I wanted to at least see how it went freehand before I went through the trouble of making another fixture. The necessary margins are pretty tight. If these wires aren't locked in, I'm afraid the segment collisions will be as destructive as when stars collide. Yeah, that's probably not going to work. Good thing design adjustments are just a keystroke away. I thought I might throw one of these segments on a mock-up just to make sure it was heavy enough to fall back down. I'm glad I did. The wire interferes with the side plate. Gonna have to knock that back a bit too. Okay, I think I figured out why the machine was crashing. Let's give it another go. Well, now it's just tracing in air. See, I fixed it. Okay, after another hour of f***ing with it, it's now doing what it's supposed to do. You ever build model cars as a kid? Or now even? This feels just like the plastic sprue unclipping experience, but more splintery. Don't mind the machine chugging away in the background. It's doing some more digit parts, but it's also pulling double duty as Santa's workshop, as Christmas is right around the corner at this point in time. The day after tomorrow, to be exact. Clearance is clearance. My wife said she wanted one of those pegboards to organize her craft gear, and I says, listen, honey, no one's getting pegged in this household. Instead, I'm putting together a French cleat system. Consider this a teaser, as it's something I've been just itching to cover once I've done enough experimentation and arrive at enough conclusions. Let me know if you guys want to see more on this topic. Future me reporting in with the final product, she did in fact Okay, we don't have time for this. Sounds like the machine is done cooking whatever it was cooking. Alright, I did the side plates, cams, and some gears. Cams look good, we'll send them over for processing. Gears do not look good. The snowflake thing seems okay, but the others look like sickly table saw blades. One appears to have lost a fight with a gas-powered pooper scooper. And all these big-ass holes aren't supposed to be on these side plates, so more trash for the trash god. But at least I got one good run in. It do be like that sometimes. Between us gals, I really needed that for my psyche. It feels like I've just been taking setback after setback. Oh shit, all the holes are too small. Well, I think we're good now. We should have everything we need to put this bad boy together. I made another fixture for these segment arms to hold them upright while operating the brain drill. Great, now I'm gonna have that stuck in my head all day. Works like a charm. The ply layers help with alignment. The area is so small, I'm just eyeballing the placement. I'm using keyed shafting for the cams to keep them honest. Really need to get a machinist vise down here so I don't have to fist vise metal bar like this. It just occurred to me that there was a drill vise next to me for all of that. These brass tubes I'm cutting now will act as standoffs between the side plates. Not really sure the best way to get this all together. I mean, I already have the plates assembled, so I'll try like this. This is not the way. The cams are keyed with little brass dowels. Did I show that? Oh, there it is. They're not really fixed in any way. These massive washers should prevent any rovers, wanderers, nomads, or vagabonds. Please don't sue me, Lars. The other things all get their own little washers to keep it all aligned with the cams. Mimi thinks I should have also done these while the side plates were still separated. I will keep that in mind when I inevitably do this all again. This fixture should, in theory, help with the bending and spacing of the linkages connecting the cam followers to the segment arms. Adding the snowflake to make hand spinning easier. I know I said I was skeptical of these segment wires, but they're already made, so I'm going to throw them on and just see what happens. I'm already finding I'm getting inconsistent results with the bending apparatus. In order for this to work, all these linkages need to be just right. Too long and you have a floppy segment. Too short and it's too much pressure on the cam. If the bends aren't perpendicular, the whole thing wants to bind. At this point, it's not going to be perfect. I may as well see it through though, for data. Naturally, it isn't working. After everything I've been through, this is exactly what I expected. Which is to say, I have everything under control, and there's absolutely no reason to panic, even though there's only 2 days left in the month for me to finish this video, and I haven't recorded this voiceover yet. Or have I? Let's take a closer look. One of the segment arms split, and another hole got a little too blown out. So I just pulled those segments out because they were flopping and slopping. Linkages all need to be the exact size, no exceptions. Need an improved bending apparatus for sure. There's a little bit of play in some of the segment arms, so some segments don't want to stay upright. Even in its dilapidated state, I can tell some numbers are not numbering. Now would be a great time to throw in that bit about cam timing I forgot to include earlier. We know time moves forward and the minute digit needs to account for 10 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and nothing. Then it just repeats. If we know what segments are assigned to each cam, we can determine what segments are on depending on the given state of time with a truth table. Each column represents a cam and each row a number. So now we just go through each row and write whether the segment is true or false for each cam. Maybe you see where I'm going with this. Truth is lobe, off is not lobe. Each cam is divided into 10 sections. They all index together. Bada boom, bada boom. Yeah, okay, so the problem is some of these are on backwards. We have enough time for one more iteration before we're all out of time. This revised linkage wire bending fixture uses brass pegs for bending points, and it's working much better. It's faster and more consistent. A win-win all around. Early tests seem promising. I felt so inspired I went ahead and made fixtures for each of the segment wires. They don't take all the finagling out of it, but overall I'm feeling much more confident about these results. All these will set me up for success when the other 3 digits get made. I only needed a few new segment arms, but I made a bunch more so I could be more selective about quality. Looks like it's just the last 2 cams were on upside down, or backwards, whatever you want to call it. New linkage wires are still a bit tight. That's unfortunate. Need to make some quick and dirty adjustments here. This wire gauge is just too big. It's too thick to bend back up to prevent them from working themselves off. I have smaller gauge wire ordered and on the way, but it won't get here this year. This will have to do until the next iteration. Now to get the segments on. Still need some bending and finagling to prevent collisions. Damn, split another segment arm. It's a risky move, but I'm just going to dump CA glue in there so I don't have to take it all apart again. Snipping these wires to size flared the ends, which is why they're having trouble getting in these holes. A quick file should prevent future splitting. Are these numbers not numbering again? Oh my god. The entire cam drum is on backwards. Okay, I think it's right now. I'm going to top these segment arms with CA glue so they're less inclined to spin. Oh wow, rat? That's a blast from the past. Alright, on with the reveal. No, I'm not spinning it in reverse. The cams are all backward. I think flipping each of the cams would fix it, but that's a problem for future me. The snowflake is a Geneva wheel that will index the numbers one at a time when hooked up properly. The gears on the other side will aid in connecting the other digits. Obviously, this still isn't perfect, but the remaining adjustments are fairly minor, and I'm hoping now that we've got this one down, the rest will go more smoothly. Time will tell. Well, folks, I'll be honest. This was much harder than I thought it would be. I had originally intended on having the whole clock ready this month, but the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. That being said, I've already done some thinking ahead on how the rest of this thing will shape out. We'll be finishing this clock in the new year, so make sure you elbow drop that subscribe button and fist vice that notification bell to see when the next installment lands. If you want real-time updates, you can follow me on Instagram. And if you enjoyed this video, then maybe a like and share is in order too. If you like what I do and want to support the channel, you can check out my online store, mujincontact.com, or I like coffee too. Thanks for problem-solving with me today, guys. There's no one I'd rather be at my wit's end with than you. I hope to see you there when we put this thing to rest once and for all. Until then, I bid you a happy new year and Godspeed.